That was a crazy clap.
Yeah, I know, right?
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Michael Wentz.
Ooh,
Clapster.
Wentz.
Impressive.
Uncle Mike, Uncle Michael.
No one calls you that.
No. This is the
Not
debate.
true yet. Well,
Yeah,
almost.
well, she won't call me that for a long time.
Yeah.
There's a debate.
He is an uncle, though.
For you,
No, my mother hates it.
Mike?
Yeah.
Oh.
She refuses.
We started calling Mike. I grew up the first 17 years of my life calling you Michael.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It
And then one day it switched.
was Faith's
And
fault.
it was like Faith and once I started hanging out like Faith and Grace and them, they started calling you Mike. And I started calling you Mike. And ever since then, it's been Mike.
Yep.
What was the event? What caused it?
I don't know. It was just like they were like, oh, Mike, instead of calling him Michael. Like it was fun as a teenager to be like, call someone else that's something different. You know what I'm talking about? You know, you call your parents by their first names and be like, haha. And then it's like, no, you don't do that. It's kind of was like that. We were like, oh, we're just going to call Michael Mike.
And see what happens.
Yeah. And then it just stuck.
See, but Uncle Michael is so like.
Uncle Michael.
Yeah, exactly. Uncle
Uncle Mike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or Uncle Ike.
No. Ike.
You could shorten Mike to Ike.
Okay, now we're just going to start shortening nicknames.
We're just going to call you.
We're just going to call him Jay, not JK.
Exactly. I just call him M.
M.
Just, you know.
As opposed to your name, which is that long, awesome name, Dr.
Jonathan
Prescott.
That is true.
Kelly.
It's a great name, actually.
I appreciate that. That's very kind.
It's very artistic and fun.
When Steve sent me the video,
I didn't
I was
choose
like,
it.
wow, that's so grandiose and beautiful.
Did you know that about him?
His full name?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
The other episodes edited?
Yeah, the Prescott one.
It is up.
I even
send
sent
me
you I sent you a link and put
No.
hashtag Chris
There's no
Metzger
way.
with a K. And maybe that's why you didn't
My
get it.
brother, did you hear about that? My brother, John, does paleo art, and so he did a little small thing for National Geographic.
A small thing for National Geographic.
Yeah, but it was a small thing, but it was for National Geographic.
That's
and
huge.
it was in an article that came out today, and they spelled his name with a K instead of a G. So instead of Metzger, it's Metzgar.
Hey, new artist moniker is what
Yeah,
I'm
he's like,
hearing.
all right, that's who I am now.
You
Changes
embrace
all
that.
his socials. It's like, yeah.
Identity change.
Yeah, but we should get started with the
Yeah, at some
podcast.
point. Yeah.
so-
Hey, welcome. Welcome
was a
back to the
great cold open.
podcast. I would thanks for watching the pre-podcast. Now we're on to the regular podcast, I guess is what I'm saying. So we have a new guest for those for all of our fans. I think we're up to
7?
7 fans. No, I think we have like 45 subscribers.
Well,
That's huge.
Pretty good.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
You know, and I've talked about that before, but you know, when people think about like 45 people for YouTube channel, like, come on, seriously, right? But if you walked into a room, there's 45 people that are ready to listen to you. That's all of a sudden a lot of people. I think
you
that's
just
pretty
made
cool.
Mike nervous.
Exactly.
I'm so scared.
And we do have a studio audience.
What's the largest group of people you've ever spoken to?
Yeah,
the
there
largest
you
group of people I've spoken in front of, I don't
Yeah.
know. I've performed in front of like, if you consider O'Hare Airport speakers.
Oh, wow.
You spoke in front of
No,
everyone?
I played piano at O'Hare Airport. And it was played on the speakers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then also I played like for youth group at a piano, like played piano for competition. There were like 2,000
I
people
did
there.
that. I did that.
Yeah, it was
no,
Oh,
cool.
really?
Not 2,000. I
Yeah.
didn't do 2,000.
No, because I got to play in front of
You
everyone.
got to play in front of
'Cause I
everybody. I
won.
didn't.
Here's the question.
Oh, that's
Won.
cool.
I did
Yeah, I
not
know.
win. I got a medal though.
All of this was just a flex that I won a competition.
It-
That's why I'm
Set
here.
up.
That is a flex. Here's my question for you. If you have to perform in front of a group of people, is it a bigger deal to perform in front of a larger group or a smaller group? And if so, at what point does that switch over? Like, would you get nervous in front of 2 people or 4?
I think it
or
really
10?
depends on who the people are.
Okay.
If it's someone like in an interview, you can get nervous with 1 person or 2 people because it seems important. But if it's like Chris, JK, and Steve, like whatever, it's 3 people that you talk to all the time. So I think that's kind of the determining factor.
But
right?
at some point, it's going to switch over. Because even if you know them really well, like 30 of them is kind of a big deal.
30 is
right?
a big deal. I mean, I guess in the context of at work, I had to go over a policy, and I was like, this is weird. I know everything in this policy, but I feel nervous presenting
You
it.
read the policies?
I like
didn't
we
know
had like
people did
policies
that.
and procedures. Like I had to explain to people how to balance the coin
Yeah.
machine, and so I got nervous because I was like, what if I forget to tell them something?
For people who don't know, where is it that what type of job do you have?
I'm in banking. I'm
Okay.
in finances.
Wow, finance bro over here.
Right.
One
exactly.
of those people.
No,
I mean,
I-
welcome. Yeah.
Welcome.
Let's do it official. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So your name is
Michael Wentz.
Michael
Michael?
Scott
Oh,
Wentz.
okay.
Michael
Yep.
Scott Wentz.
Mike Scott Wentz. That's what we'll
Facts.
switch it to now.
Mike Scott?
No, Michael
It's
Scott.
got to be Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Legendary.
Yeah.
And I know at the pre podcast you had mentioned you've been friends with him for a very long time.
Yeah, as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And he's a graduate of the Ignite program.
Yes,
And what's
congrats.
interesting, and we'll talk about it very very briefly because I want to get into what we should know about you. So be prepared to answer that.
Oh no.
Yes, exactly.
Are you going to ask me specific questions
no,
or just
I was-
what to know about me?
You can phone a friend if you need to.
Okay.
It'll be very tough questions. Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
sounds good.
I'll tell you everything you need to know.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably get the real scoop over there. I know you took the program, and then you've had a lot of life changes.
Just a
since
little.
Then. I don't know when you took the program. 8 months ago? 6 months ago?
Definitely not 8 months ago. It was in October of last. It was probably a year ago.
Okay.
wow.
So a year ago. So a lot can happen in a year.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking about going through the program again, or certainly revisiting it.
Yeah, I know
Because
you-
at some point you lost the papers in the
Oopsies.
tornado.
Yeah, whatever.
Exactly. And but so you know. Some of the things that we're going to talk about, this would be, I think, good for people because we have to revisit some of these things,
Yeah.
periodically, and you're kind of like forced to do it,
Yeah.
especially as you reevaluate the interesting things that are happening in your life.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, you whatever you're comfortable sharing,
Yeah, I
that's
was gonna
fine.
say, I
Just
don't know
know
what
it's
we'll say.
going
We'll
to,
just-
to 45
There's
people.
very much going on, but maybe we'll just
Yeah,
life changes and I have stuff that I
Right.
can focus on now.
exactly. So let's do the opener. What should we know about you? Get us established with you.
So if I could step in, because I was just in that chair, the hot seat, and I know it's tough to get the ball rolling. So I feel like it might help if we throw in a couple things about you.
Yeah, I feel like general information is hard to where to start. Like,
So I wanted to start with just like a couple things to describe you, because there's a lot of
oh no, I'm going to be flattered.
there are things that you wouldn't say about yourself, and as your friend, I want to brag about you a little bit. So
Okay.
there's a few things that people should know about you. You're very kind. You're very thoughtful. You're really funny, and you balance back and forth between the funny and the serious pretty well, which I always appreciate. You genuinely care about people, but you're also really good with ideas and discussing ideas and thinking the abstract. And you're good in the details, although sometimes they get away from you.
Yeah, maybe a little. Yeah. I guess we'll go like job and then hobbies and then faith. I do more than teller work, but like my position, most people would call it like a teller at a credit union. I've been there for 3 years, and I'm kind of on the cusp of either moving up to being like a banker, what people would consider a banker, or conversely, I'm like considering going into IT with the same company. It's actually been there have been a couple people in the company who have jumped from one to the other, and one of my friends who I went to high school with really wants me to be in IT with him. So that's something that's coming up within the next month or two. Just with everything being crazy, there were a couple opportunities I missed of being a senior, which is unfortunate, but I also really like the people I work with. My boss also goes to New Hope, and she's a pretty amazing person, and I'm really appreciative. Within my job, I have strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, everyone does, and I think that both my manager and assistant manager really understand me well, and I appreciate when they let me do what I need to do to accomplish my job, because maybe I don't do it in the most correct way. But I get it done. Both of my bosses really let me excel in the things that I'm good at and have grace in the things that maybe are not technically the way it should be done. I'm really social, and I make good friends with the members, and so sometimes that ends up like looking different than a normal transaction or interaction with them. And yeah, I've had a really fun time getting to engage with the community that I'm in. And my coworkers are cool. And anyway, so with moving up a position, I'm already doing a lot of the work that I would be doing if I were to be promoted. But at the same time, there is some level of me that wants to switch just to a different place. I would get to work in the admin office, and that would be just a different. Yeah. Hobbies. I guess this is sort of important because I focus on it a lot. I play disc golf with the both of them all the time. I'm probably at like 120 rounds for the year. So I get out in nature a lot. I really enjoy it. Good place to clear your head and be physically active. So that's really important to me.
JK, we played a new course
Oh, we did.
in Fox Lake.
Oh, really?
Ingleside.
Ingleside, Fox Lake-ish.
Is it okay?
By
Whatever.
Big Hollow. It's actually near Fairfield. But it's, yeah.
It was very fun.
That's good.
Yeah,
to
it's
know.
a little 9-hole. It's great. It was really fun.
For all the disc golf people out there,
All four of them.
We're going to give a couple
Golfers.
different hints or tips and tricks on that. Michael, are you rated at all? With
Am
the
I
disc golf?
rated?
Yes.
I think technically I do have a rating because I played in a tournament and got a rating, but I have no idea what it is. Probably under. I don't think I'm under. I wouldn't be under 800, but probably under like 950.
Okay.
So not that good.
Okay.
I'm
But
better
still
than
rated.
him, but I'm worse than him sometimes.
Usually he's better than I am.
Mike's
Okay.
pretty
He's just being
consistently better. If like JK and I ever had a hot round, we'd beat Mike, but
I just can't throw far. I
Mike's
have little noodle
consistently
arms.
better.
It's really sad.
Apparently, it doesn't help.
I mean, you throw far.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
You just can't play.
All right.
I throw far, go across the course to off the course
Yeah, I
Somewhere.
throw
Into
far
the parking lot.
water.
occasionally.
Yeah. And then I guess
Sorry.
the other, I also fish with Chris. Me and Chris have been fishing a
Yeah.
lot this year. It's been a really good time. I love getting out in the boat, smoking a cigar. It's just calm and peaceful. I don't know.
Fishing.
Fishing, pizza,
Eat pizza. Fishing.
sometimes catching fish,
Sometimes, yeah.
usually losing a lot of
Yeah.
lures.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes.
You know, but
I feel bad now. I just remembered that John went out with us one time, and it was just kind
you
of
gave
like,
him the worst ride.
it was his first time with us.
So you wanted to have the worst experience possible.
He could have used one of yours.
I only had one. I broke my other one.
That's not.
Did you give him like a little Spider-Man branded
It
one or
wasn't
something?
that bad, but it wasn't great.
It cast like
Anyway, I just was thinking about it. I felt bad because that probably wasn't the best fishing experience. Because I don't know who else caught that. Did anyone catch anything that day?
someone. I don't think we've ever been fully skunked.
Yes, we have.
You're probably right.
Plenty of time.
Is that what it's called? Catching no fish? You are now skunked?
Skunk.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the
I
term.
feel like that's a general like.
'Cause I've never
skunked
been
is
skunked.
just kind of like you didn't do what you set out to do.
Uh-huh.
Like you call it skunked in cribbage.
Okay.
Like if
Cribbage?
cribbage, it's a
How
game.
old are you?
Jonathan Prescott.
I live with
I like
like
fishing. I like cribbage.
I like football. I like
I
tarantulas.
like going out in nature and walking around.
And when it's raining outside, I crochet.
I tried learning crocheting. It didn't go well.
That's amazing.
No. I also started keeping tarantulas. Well,
Oh, okay.
tarantula.
Now this is interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
this is very
so
interesting.
Tell me about it.
So, I owned lizards and snakes growing up. And so I had a bunch of terrariums that I had kept over the years. And my sister moved in with my mom. And they're like, oh, we need you to move this out. And so I went to move it out. And I put it in my car. And then I had another terrarium in my hand. And I smashed the first terrarium into the one in the car. And it shattered. And I got really angry because, very reasonable thing. to
You
be
did that on
upset-
purpose?
Nope, it was on accident.
Okay.
Okay.
Very reasonable thing to get angry about. But
Because that thing that was in there got out.
no.
Okay.
There was nothing in them.
Oh,
I
okay,
just
got it.
shattered
Oh,
an
thank
empty
goodness.
terrarium.
I
Oh,
imagined
okay.
it was full of like lizards.
Right, exactly.
spiders.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'm good
You
at
just shut
this.
your
Snake is
trunk. And you're like,
No, I hope this doesn't go poorly.
You may not
No,
have been the only mad one in that situation.
no, it was empty, and I got upset because I had that terrarium for like 10 years, and I was just about to use it. And so I walked inside. My sister was like, you should go get a pet because you've always wanted like either a new snake or cockroaches.
you want cockroaches?
Madagascan hissing cockroaches make great pets. Anyway,
So the love of animals I felt was relatable. Your choice of animals I wouldn't say is as relatable.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I like animals, and then you just named like 3 animals I would never want.
The funny thing is though, like sometimes the way you
He's our guest.
the way you'll
Go
talk
on.
about like a snake or something, you'll be like, oh, it's so cute.
Exactly.
And that's a connection that I wouldn't make with a snake probably. But
hog noses, adorable. Sand boas, really dorky looking. Anyway.
Okay, go on. So how'd you?
Yeah, so
trip
anyway,
upon
so I
this
broke
spider?
the thing, and then my sister was like, you should go get an animal. And while I was driving, she's like, you should get a tarantula. And I'm like, that's a great idea. I was going to get a tarantula for my dad many years ago. And then it just kind of didn't work out. And so then there was kind of this connection because my dad passed away this year. So I was like, I'm going to get something that I always wanted to get for him. And that like made it more special.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So what kind of tarantula do
So
you
I have a Guiana pink toe. So it's
Okay.
avicularia,
Gesundheit.
avicularia. Yep, I know. She's, I think, like 6 to 8 months old and about to molt.
Did she tell you that?
She did. Actually, she spelled it out with the dirt.
With the dirt, some pig.
So how big is a spider like?
She's like 2 inches. That's like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's not huge. She's not small.
Yeah.
There was like a small spider that got into her enclosure. I'm like, look, it has a little thread.
Did it eat it?
No, it left.
How did another Oh, there's probably
There's air holes. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they need cross ventilation.
They need
Okay.
cross it. They can't just have regular.
They can't have just like top ventilation.
Why is that?
Because of the the humidity can cause mold because they need some humidity, and they're really sensitive to mold. Like I think most things are, but they're especially sensitive, and so you want to make sure that you get a cross breeze because
And-
they're terrestrial or they're not terrestrial. They're arboreal. They live in trees.
So what do they do during the day?
Not much. She kind of just chills. She's kind of like a pet rock.
It's like a platypus.
They don't do much.
They don't do much.
Okay.
More or less.
Okay.
This is all. So what's cool about hearing you kind of talk about each of these things? It's neat because your hobbies are very nested in community, right? Like that's something like you can. One of the questions that we are eventually going to ask you is what's important to you, what do you value, right? But it's kind of clear just from listening to you, like how you pursue your interests with other people for the most part. I mean, obviously, your connection with your pets is within the home and looks different, but you enjoy talking about it. But like the disc golf, you enjoy with people. The fishing, that's usually a social thing as well.
Yeah.
So it's cool that like even just the way you talk about these things, like I feel like it's obvious you get some insight into what's important to
That
you.
I'm
And
incredibly extroverted.
Yeah.
And love people.
Yeah.
So much.
And you have just a wealth of knowledge about everything.
exactly, I was also about to bring that up too. Because like
Yeah.
how many like facts have we already learned?
About tarantulas.
Yeah.
They're
Crazy.
pretty- yeah.
And what do you say, Madagascar cockroaches?
Madagascar hissing cockroaches.
Hissing cockroaches.
They come
Why
from
do
that-
they make a good pet? Tell me again.
So the
Because
reason
normally I see a cockroach and you know, it's just not like something I'm like, ooh.
So I mean, well, for one, unlike most cockroaches, they're pretty slow moving, so that's less terrifying.
Okay. Do they fly?
They don't fly. They don't fly.
Okay, that's a plus.
Exactly, and they hiss sometimes, which is funny.
Okay.
And they eat garbage,
Okay.
which is good.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm slow moving, don't fly and hiss sometimes. Am I
A lot of
cool?
similarities. Are you sure?
But
you're
then you
not a
went to the
cockroach?
garbage thing, and I don't eat the garbage. No.
Chris, are you sure you're not a cockroach?
If we cut your head off, will you live?
Oh no, he's hissing.
Do they live without their head? Okay, I heard they have 17 heart.
They don't have 17 hearts. They have
not heart valves or something.
So
Heart.
I think you're thinking about worms. They have 5
No,
hearts.
heart
So-
chambers.
Sort of. So cockroaches, they have brains, not stems, but like their brain is spread out to their body, kind of like octopuses too. Like octopuses, octopi,
Octopus.
octopodes, whatever. There's like
Real science guy over here.
Yeah, no
Whatever.
kidding.
I think it's just octopus.
Anyway, they're sort of in that way, like their brains are spread out in their tentacles, and there actually is some interesting research that they were talking about whether or not an octopus is conscious of its own, or if its arms act independently from its body, because they have enough like brain processing power to do things. So like you'll notice sometimes that an octopus, like its arm will stretch out and then like it'll all of a sudden realize like, oh, my arm is investigating something, but then they can kind of bring it all together into like one cluster when they need to escape.
Like a hive mind
Sort of. It's really
in
interesting.
one being. In one.
Yeah, no, but the reason cockroaches can live like that is because that they're like brain, not stem, whatever. Their brain parts are spread out through their body.
Sometimes happens with me. I'm like sitting on the couch and I'm like, oh, what? Whoa,
Whoa, how did this end?
Where'd this beer come from?
Exactly. Yeah.
Things that end up in your hand.
Just I'm like,
sometimes.
whoa, a bag of candy. What?
Yeah, so then they live, and the only reason that they die is because they starve.
Oh, wait, octopus?
No,
Cockroaches.
Oh, the only reason.
The only reason that they
Okay.
die if they get their head cut off. There's many other reasons.
Oh,
that
okay. I was like,
cockroaches
whoa,
die.
hold on. Whoa. Yeah, okay, that makes
So-
sense. Whoa.
Also, you said
I heard
something
that
about
also,
freezing.
is that also true about alligators and stuff like that? That's why they live like forever. Something has to kill it.
I think that octopus. I think that alligators do eventually die of old age. Things can like break them down, but
Yeah,
they're
but like reptiles keep growing? Is that a
sort
thing?
of reptiles. They continue to grow, but their like growth rate dramatically drops once they reach adulthood. So they'll be a lot slower.
All right, I have a question. If you had to describe 3 of your strengths, but you had to use the abilities of an animal,
Oh gosh.
right? Right? Okay, stay with me.
I understand the question,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's like
First,
Jake is trying to keep us on track.
first list the strengths, and then we'll connect.
okay, fine.
All right, yeah, you come up with a strength, and then we'll try to.
I mean, like, I guess
we'll
I-
use our animal knowledge.
Okay, hold on. I mean, an easy one would be like basically any social animal. So you could go insects, you could go like ants and bees, but that's kind of weird. That's more.
How about a dog?
Yeah, I was gonna say a wolf. See, like a wolf or a pride of lions or something like that.
That's
So-
not. That's you're describing yourself. Like
Yeah, I'm
that's-
like social and like I
okay.
like
You run with the pack.
exactly.
Social
I don't.
Would you relate more to insects than a
No,
dog? maybe?
no. I just was giving an example. Jeez.
First to be told what to do by the queen.
And then you dance.
Exactly.
Okay, so then what else do you value?
What else do I value or what attributes describe me?
How did you ask it?
Well, I had asked about
What are
strengths.
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 Okay. So
But
let me know
We
the
could
strength.
go into we could do strengths and then
We'll
get
do
to-
we'll do
yeah.
strengths and then
Think
we'll
we
go.
should
into
Okay,
it.
so you're
some
very
of both.
sociable. You said
Yeah,
the
exactly.
strength of yours, extroverted, probably 100% on the extroverted side of the
Yeah, I don't like being
Scale.
alone. It's kind of boring.
yeah.
What's another high energy? So we could call it Jack Russell Terrier.
Okay, sure.
And
Nice.
a dog.
Exactly.
More like refining it within the
Within the dog.
Now I would think
section,
high energy, maybe like a hummingbird.
A hummingbird is great.
They seem to move really fast.
They do. And they need
Or-
lots of sugar.
Do they?
Yeah.
Just like you. Is that good?
Yeah,
Is
pretty
that's the connection?
Hummingbird,
Okay, got
So,
it.
yeah.
Strength, eating sugar.
Yeah. Weakness, also a hummingbird.
Eating sugar.
It doesn't live very long.
Yeah.
High heart rate.
Actually, though, my resting heart rate is like 80.
No, it's not.
Yes.
So then,
It's so bad.
It's studio audience. You're a health teacher.
Yeah,
Resting heart rate 80? Is that good?
that is high.
There's a lot going on with my heart.
I would rest a little more.
See, that's the thing. Is resting heart rate is fake. I'm never resting.
that's true. So you spoke a little bit about some of the strengths, and we kind of observed a bit about your values. What would you add to the mix of values that we've identified so far?
I guess the last thing that I was going to go into was like faith. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I go to church with all 3 of these people. Someone needs to show up a little bit more often because I want him there because I enjoy the community that he brings. I think it's been really interesting this year, my like journey in my faith, because there have been points in my life where I've been more like devoted to like Christ and like trying to really like search for a purpose within faith, and then there's been other times where I've been either lax or kind of lost. And so this year has challenged faith. It's challenged like resolve and like my understanding of what God wants for my life, which is hard to understand, I think.
Yeah.
Ironically, the place that I serve right now at church almost always is on sound, which is almost the most antisocial place you can be. But I really enjoy getting to like help people enjoy worship. I think that it's really powerful when music is done well, to really connect to God. So I guess I think I'm answering the question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that I really value my faith. I really want to continue pursuing God and understanding like the purpose I have in my life. And I think I know some of it. I know that I can like be kind. I know that I can like continue to point to God and be like, hey, this is where my strength comes from. Even if I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep going, I know that I can rely on him and rely on the people around me that are also relying on him. I think maybe that's a flaw that I have that I need to try and figure out. I maybe lean on mentor. I should lean on mentors, but sometimes I think I like go to mentors instead of going to God first. But also I trust that the people I'm going to are Christ focused. So
It's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to value.
yeah, it's really important.
How long you been a Christian?
My whole life, I like, I don't know. I grew up.
Sorry.
My tragic backstory. No. So like I grew up in a Christian household. I first committed my life to Christ probably when I was like 8 or 9. I don't really know what that means. And then every VBS, whatever, I would always be like, oh, well, I'm rededicating my life to Christ because I don't know if I'm actually a Christian. And then I got baptized when I was 13. And I said, like, in my testimony, the thing that I remember saying specifically was, like, I'm done, like, not knowing. This is me for sure, like, presenting my faith and saying, this is who I am. Now, have I always lived perfectly with that? No. But I think this year I've tried to. And there have been places where I've struggled and places where I think I've gotten closer. So
Closer to
God and closer to what I want to be as a person. I don't know. Maybe you can speak on that. Maybe you see it. Maybe you don't.
It's honestly, I was listening to you and I was interested because it's something that I think has been a part of both of our lives, but it's not necessarily something that we talk about often, even though we're at church together a lot or in small groups or, where like our own personal walk. So it's been cool to kind of see, honestly, I'm impressed with all the things that have happened in your life in the past year, that the confidence that you still walk with and the desire you have to continue to pursue that relationship.
I mean, it's really hard.
Yeah, but I think it's impressive. Is not
Yeah.
to discount what you've done. I think just to encourage you in that, to say, yeah, you're really growing into a. It's cool to watch you grow into the person that you're trying to become.
Or molt, as some might say.
Yeah, exactly.
Molt. You're molting.
nice call.
I'm going into a cocoon and
So
coming
you
out
would
a
say
beautiful
you're kind of like a spider.
There we go. Kind of like most invertebrates.
Yeah.
There we go. I found out that there's a midge that lives in Antarctica. It's the only fully terrestrial animal in Antarctica.
What's a midge?
It's like a tiny little like insect.
Oh.
I didn't do a lot of research into it. I just found out they live in Antarctica and they're the only fully terrestrial animal.
What do you mean fully terrestrial?
So every other animal that lives in Antarctica also like is semi-aquatic, or at least
What about an Arctic fox?
those are in the Arctic.
What'd you say?
Those are north.
Where are you?
Where am I?
No,
I'm
where is the little bug?
Antarctica. Antarctica is a continent. The Arctic
Yeah.
is not a continent.
Yeah, but what about those foxes that live in Antarctica?
They don't live in Antarctica. Is this a bit?
Is it literally just midges over there? Like,
No. There's not only midges
what
in Antarctica.
what about the people who live there?
Is Antarctica the thing that surrounds us?
Yeah, the ice wall.
The ice wall.
Yes,
The ice wall.
the ice wall.
Let's go there. Okay.
So, we are all flat
welcome
earthers.
back to the
We've made it.
podcast. We made it to the part I want to talk about. Okay, here we go.
You believe in-
So, if flat or round? No, I'm kidding.
Oh wait, you don't believe the Earth is? Oh, that's really awkward. Great guys, over here we believe in the flat Earth, right?
No, Steve
Yes.
is a hardcore flat earther.
Okay, good.
I think it's like a
It only takes about 8 hours to convince Steve of something. So just
This podcast has only been going for. What do we want to convince Steve of next?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go back to your faith, though.
Okay.
Very trying year.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was having some turmoil going through my life, my faith absolutely grew because I knew I can't do this alone. And I leaned into God, and I leaned into Scripture a lot, especially the book of James. If you guys have watched any of my podcasts, I mentioned it a lot. That book of James really changed my life. When you do a Bible study on it, I didn't just read it; I studied it. I had questions, hard questions asked of me, and it was very. It got me back on the right track. I don't know how else to describe it. So you had some turmoil things. We don't have to talk about it in specific, but how did it work with your faith? And I'm assuming, yes, it increased it.
I think that I have a really interesting problem of really questioning my motivation all the time. And so I recognized to an extent, I was like, well, maybe if I get closer to God, things in my life will change for the better. And it wasn't necessarily that I couldn't determine for a long time which came first, like chicken or the egg or whatever. But I was like, even if my original motivation is bad, if I continue, eventually, like either your motivation changes or you recognize that what you're doing is good for goodness sake. And so there were times where I was really, really engaged this year, and then there were like moments where, like I said, my faith has grown overall, but it's gone in like dips and waves.
What would you say are the right reasons? Like, what are the right motivations that you're looking for?
I mean, salvation and a relationship with Christ. I think anything else.
You don't think you can want those things and other things in a given
No, I mean, 100% you can want both things, but I think if your main motivation is treating God as a slot machine, that's bad. And that wasn't what I was trying to do, but I overanalyze sometimes how I think about and go about things, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Are my intentions pure? Are they motivated by self-interest? If I give someone something, am I doing it because I think in the future they'll do something nice for me, or am I doing it because I care about them? And even if I know the answer, I still question it.
Sounds like you're more concerned about doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, not that you...
I don't want to do it for the wrong reasons. I want to do it for the right reasons.
Right.
And I sometimes worry that I do things for the wrong reasons.
This is great. Okay, you said three words that really struck me, and specifically because Pastor Gary this week was talking about Galatians and
The fruits of
the opposites, like some
fruits of the
some,
flesh.
Yes, specifically, and one of them that always struck me because I don't know how to process
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft, yeah. What is that? No, okay. But to tie that together really fast, you said self-interest. You question your motivation. Now back to the Bible verse. What is selfish ambition? Are those tied together? Because I don't understand what selfish ambition is.
I mean, isn't it just kind of doing things for the soul, or for that result in only your benefit?
What would be an example? Because I'm concerned I'm doing it. I know what selfish is. I know what ambition is. But how is it a bad thing? And you got the joke? You got the joke? Why don't you get that out first?
I was just gonna say, like, having your own podcast might be a selfish ambition.
Well, you could...
What if he's doing it for the good of other people?
Right.
It's a joke with a kernel of truth, right? Because, like, you could do it, as you were saying, Mike, for the wrong reasons, or you could do it for the benefit of the people around you and to invest in something that you believe is important and worthwhile. So, yeah.
Okay, wait. Stay with you. Go deeper.
I'll change the example slightly then on that. So within this program, we ask ourselves a few questions, right? We kind of ask ourselves, who are we and what do we want and how are we going to get that, basically? And it's easy, I think, for anyone when they become aware of what they want to pursue that, maybe to the exclusion of other things that are also important, right? And so if you are making sacrifices towards the pursuit of a goal, generally speaking, we would say that that's a noble thing, that's a good thing. But it can be done at the expense of something else that's important too, right? So if, for example, to make this podcast happen, you had to sacrifice something else that was important to you, like quality time with your friends or family or whatever, right? Like that could be that could be a cost that then changes the equation a little bit. So that's kind of where I was going with the analysis, but I'm curious your thoughts on all that.
I don't know my thoughts on it. That's why I need about 8 hours, and you guys can convince me of anything. Chris, would you like to add to it before?
Have
Because
you
I'm
ever
still
been,
processing.
Yes. Have you ever been in a relationship that looking back, that it was just solely for your own pleasure or your own desire or your own, like, you weren't thinking about that other person, or you weren't pursuing, you know, you kind of know what I'm getting at a little bit. Like, I think the selfish ambition is just kind of this, like, it's about me, it's about what I can do, and who, like, especially if you start to follow the rabbit trail of, oh, God doesn't exist, and there's no higher power, then everything becomes relative.
Power,
morality
right?
becomes relative.
Not
right?
me specifically,
yeah,
but like,
and we as people are not higher powers, right? There's not it's something inherent. We're just nature, right? Then what I want isn't morally right or wrong, and then what I want, as long as I'm bigger, stronger, and more powerful, I can get that thing, and it's
Or
okay for
smarter.
me, or smarter, right? Right. So, and so, so then you become the center of your life, and you become who says what's right. And so this selfish ambition is this ambition and this desire to do whatever you want with your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think an example that could go with that, now that I've had a chance to kind of reflect on the topic a little as we're going, one of the things that's important to my wife and I is to be finding ways to be, like, making more money, like earning more, jobs on the side, that kind of thing, because that is it's a means towards our other goals, right? Towards the end of our other goals. So I've been working a lot in the wood shop and making stuff for these craft fairs, and something that I enjoy doing. One of the ways that I have to check myself is if I get kind of caught up in what I'm doing, but Emily needs a hand with something, how responsive am I to that? Like, am I there when she needs me? You know, obviously, like, sometimes I just take a few minutes to finish up what I'm doing, but if I am in a good heart place, I'll pause what I'm doing when I can and then go in and try to help. So the times where I don't feel like I'm in a good heart place are the times where that is a really hard thing to do. And so it's a good check on my motives, right? It's like, why am I doing this? Am I caught up in the pursuit of the thing for my, I would call that selfish ambition, right? I'm doing this because I want to, and what others around me want can be less important in the moment, or it can feel that way. So then, like, the thing to do is to check my response, right? It's like, okay, she needs me to do something. Stop when I get to a minute that I can stop, I'll pause it, and then I'll go in and take care of whatever it is, right? So that's an example from my life. Does that speak a little bit to what you were saying?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, like, that if you start to break it down, that, like, ambition, like, in and of itself isn't wrong, or your desire to do something, or to like accomplish something. If you're working on, you're like, oh, I want to get this done, I want to do this thing, and then but it kind of comes to values a little bit of, like, your relationships, and when it starts to contradict who you want to be, right? And ideally, like, working towards someone who's like Christ, and so, like, I think that selfish, I'm making it too complicated. It's just like when you are prioritizing yourself over
anybody else.
I know that's kind of I would say but in a situation where it is like a relationship that you shouldn't be doing that in. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's really easy to do that with finances in general. Like, money is so, wow, I'm so original, but money is so ingrained in our culture specifically. Materialism is really, really strong. And I don't know, it's something even like this year that, like, I've at times found myself clinging to, and multiple people have called me out at times, like, bro, chill. And, like, you say, oh, I want this much money because this. And if there's not a, like, caveat of, I'm making this money not just for if you are saying I'm making this money for myself, it's a problem. If you're saying this money is to provide what I need, and a lot of it is going towards my ability to spend time with other people, my ability to provide for others, my ability to tithe. And I think that, like, this whole program, or not whole program, a lot of this program is about goals, right? Achieving goals. I think that I always want my goals to have, like, I value some piece of community. I want there to be, like, something that doesn't just enrich my life, I can give it to other people. And I feel like if you're not doing that, that would be selfish ambition.
The funny thing is, like, a lot of these examples, the struggle comes not because the alternative is something you don't want to do. It's just, it's out of proportion, right? The thing that you want to do is coming at the expense of something else that you also value, right? And so, obviously, like, money can be very useful for the other things that are important to you, right? Like, you can use it to take care of the people around you. You can use it to accomplish larger goals, with communities like the obvious example, right? Like, you can support the people around you and, donate to the church and get a meal for somebody and those types of things. So those are things that in any given moment you'd be like, oh yeah, like that, of course that's important to me. That is something that I value. But the trick of the situation is that, like, you kind of forget that that's something you care about sometimes. So
We have solved nothing in my mind.
Oh, really?
We need to dive deeper.
ask a question.
Oh, form it into a question?
Yeah.
Chris, I'll think about it. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think the motive behind that is very important. Because, like, especially with money, like you're saying, like, you're like, oh, I want money to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
So then, it kind of comes down to values in that way. It's like, oh, I can't value money, okay, unless you're actually, like, holding I don't know. Like, you value the security that money brings, or you value the opportunities that money brings. Like, oh, I actually value experiences and travel and, like, that, so you start to go down this thing. So, or status.
Which you have to be really rich for that to matter, but.
Sure, right? Like, own 3 houses or something. But, like, the more.
Or a Corvette?
Or a Corvette. The more you dive into that motive, right? Like, that's then selfish ambition, because you find that selfish ambition in your motives there.
So then here's the question, right? Can you want something for yourself? Is that permissible from your worldview?
It's a great question. I think initially I'm like, no.
But I do
Really?
it
But
anyway.
I think that's my gut. That's my initial thought.
Because this deserves some clarification.
Yeah.
Because there are situations in which it contradicts some other thing that's important to you. In which case, I think all of us would be more or less on the same foot, saying, like, yeah, probably best to keep that in check. But what's wrong with wanting something nice for yourself sometimes?
Yeah.
That's a real question.
No, and I think that you're right. I think that we are. I know I said no, but I think the more I would dig into that, the more I'd discover a more true answer. I think initially my some of my thoughts are like, oh, submit your, like, crucify yourself, like, give up, deny yourself, pick up your cross, right? This kind of, like, thinking and this kind of has just been on my mind.
Because you're preaching Sunday.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about that, but I make every thought captive, that kind of language. But I think that there's also this idea that what God has for us is freedom. And I think that there's freedom in the life that we get to live. And there is, he wants us to live life to the fullest. Like, there's what he offers is better. And so I think he does want us to experience these good things. And I think he does want us to experience, and I think that we are supposed to seek, like, pleasure is a real emotion, right? But it can't be ultimate.
God provides it. Like, God provides us with provisions for pleasure.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, they're in so many different ways.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, you have to be really careful. I don't know. You said something that I was like, I don't know, and now I can't.
I know, right? Well, it's just like I know it gets really close to, like, deny yourself everything and become a monk kind of thing, which I don't think God calls us to. I think some people feel that conviction and decide to do that, but I don't think it's a general call on our
This
life.
is something that's worth hammering out, because I think there is a perception of believers that when we get to these types of topics, that we would preach nothing except sitting in an empty room, and then spending all your money just on other people.
Yeah.
Right. As if
Prosperity gospel versus monk.
Sure. Yeah. And then there's
Yeah,
the
there's
other
your
side.
extremes of
There's the other side of things, like you had pointed out with the prosperity gospel type messaging of, okay, well, all of the riches that God gives you in this lifetime are they're guaranteed actually, and they're promised to you, and that's part of the perks of being a Christian is that you get all this wealth, right? And so that's the other end of the spectrum. So
Which
I
is
do
a
think it's
wild
worth,
idea, by the way.
what's the center of the tension is usually where the truth is to be found. So in which situations is it appropriate to indulge yourself, and in which situations would you say that the moral thing is to give up something and give to someone else?
See,
What's your compass on that?
Even the word like indulge sounds so like antithetical to what I imagine we're supposed to be doing. And like you said, like your gut reaction is like no, but then at the same time
Yeah.
we're
So
constantly
then you have to give up magic and disc golf.
exactly.
You can't ever buy another disc.
I know.
well,
That's
and
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
that I think
You can
really
only
get
buy
down-
discs to give to other people.
Speaking of,
And hope they give them
Yeah,
back.
okay. So I'd like for our producer over here to. Would you mind
You were
looking
gonna
up
say
Galatians
something.
5, the one that talks about the debauchery, which is one of my favorite words.
debauchery is a
Why, I don't know.
great word.
It's a great word.
you were
Too
going
bad
to say
it means
something,
so
though, Leah.
bad.
Well, I was just going to point out that in the program, it's in an order for a reason in my mind, where we start and we learn about our personalities and we learn about our values and we learn about what we would define as a successful life. And from there, we build our goals, because when I start the other way, my goals aren't based on anything that I can necessarily put my finger
Yeah.
on. But when I start with laying that good foundation, I get to goals that
Yeah.
can honor and glorify God, because
Yeah.
they center around how He made me,
Yeah.
what He made me value, and I can check. against
Yeah, and I
those
think that's a great point, because I think you start to get into like the individuality of it. Like I think that JK can glorify God while doing like woodworking, because he's going to do it well. And God's designed him this way, and he enjoys it, and he finds kind of this creative thing to it, and he can make money with it, right? He can sell, and that I don't think is a reason to be like, oh, I'm like shouldn't be doing this thing because I make money, or I make too much money, or do that. Like I think, but you have to check your heart in that. Like you can glorify God just because you're doing something well. If you were like I use this example when we was teaching through Luke, I think it was 3 or 4, when Jesus is getting baptized, and before that, all these people are like, John the Baptist, what do we have to do to like get baptized? And it was like a tax collector and a soldier, and a couple other people, and he went to each of them individually and was like, he's like to the tax collector, he's like, stop cheating people out of stuff. He's like, repent, like turn away from the evil behaviors you're doing. He's like, don't stop being a tax collector. He didn't tell him to do that. He said, stop. He said, be a fair tax collector, and he tells a soldier, he's like, what should I do? And he's like, be a good soldier. Like, don't be a jerk. Don't be taking advantage of people. Don't be doing these things. So I think that that's your selfish ambition in there to be like, can I get a little more? Can I get this? Can I cheat this person this way? Can I do something that's going to benefit me and put this person down? And I think that, not to say that we shouldn't have good things or pleasures, but it should be in a framework of a like, hey, God made me to do this thing, and I'm going to do it well. And I think God calls us all into things individually, right? Like Mike loves banking.
I did. Sure.
Mike enjoys banking.
I enjoy the community that I get to engage
Next,
in.
Steve loves being a photographer. Like
Way to add to it, Mike. Go on.
Yeah,
You're
right.
welcome. No.
But okay, but
perfect.
you love you love doing photography. And
I do it
taking
because it's
pictures
art. It's like
because
cool
art.
electronic stuff,
Yeah.
and I like art.
Yeah, and you do it well, and I think that there's God gets some glory in that, and you're not just like a half-ass photographer who's like, I just gotta make some money and I get this and it's like, yeah, okay, like are you doing what God made you to do, and are you doing it well? And I think you have to understand yourself and understand what God is calling you to individually in that, because I think there's some things like, oh, I shouldn't do this or have that, where JK could do that and have this, right?
I think that like it's pretty biblical to say that there's things that are morally permissible for some Christians and not for others. There's the whole verse of like, if your brother is like, if this thing causes your brother to stumble, stop doing it.
Yeah.
Which is another, so that speaks to the leading heuristic that we've uncovered, I think, in this dialogue, which is if it comes at the expense of another value, that would be a negative outcome. You should stop and check and make sure that you're not sacrificing something else in the pursuit of this one thing.
And I think drinking's
especially
a great
if it's self-interest
thing with that, right? Because it's like, oh, well, if God calls us to not be drunk and to refrain from drunkenness, can I enjoy the pleasure of what it is to have a drink, right? And then at what point does that break that boundary, right? It's like there's a spectrum there of, right? Maybe I'm getting to...
No. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I do think that there are many issues like this that within the church, there's such an all or nothing kind of attitude. Yeah. It's either like you're not allowed to touch it or like everything is permissible. And there's no... I think these are the types of questions that are very relevant to be delved into because we lose our compass.
I think something that is interesting, a show that is not biblical even sort of, but I think has some interesting philosophical discussion in general, and then specifically on this, is The Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
You watched it, right? Mm-hmm. I think, do you know the topic?
I know about The Good Place.
Obviously
it's
very...
about the afterlife.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty heretical, mostly, but I think very heretical. But I think it is interesting because the idea is like point values are assigned to all actions, but over time, like different actions become more negative than positive because of the like butterfly effect of what it does. Like if you ate a tomato in the first century, it's positive. You did something good for your body. But if you eat a tomato today, it's negative 5,000 points because there was slave labor and they used pesticides and somebody sold it for the wrong price.
Interesting. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so let's go. Thank you for that.
No connection at all.
Can I give something?
My audience is not that deep.
Okay, fine.
So just to wrap up the topic, I think.
No, I don't want to wrap it up. We're just
moving on.
Go ahead because.
Well, I'd like for our producer to actually read the verse that we're actually talking about, if you don't mind. Galatians 5 something. Like, you guys remember what it was from church?
It's like 20 through the end of the chapter or something.
Okay, so just read the one where it says talks about the debauchery.
Okay, that's your go-to. Okay, Galatians 5:19. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God.
Okay, that is a monster list. There's some serious stuff. There's boundaries clearly crossed. Drinking, having a sip of wine is different than drunkenness. Then I have to bring it back, and hopefully John can bring it back in. Is why is selfish ambition in that list? Because it's a big one, and I still don't
understand. It leads to all the rest of them, right?
I think it does. I think it's kind of a common denominator in a lot of that. And maybe that's just my initial thought. Like the lowest common denominator is selfish ambition. It's like, why do I go to drunkenness? Well, there's a pleasure there, greed or.
I think that in each of those, you are putting one thing, which is yourself, at the center, at the expense of the rest of the ways that are like godly to live, basically, right? Like, I think that if you go down that list, each of those things which are listed as an extreme and in a negative connotation, you can trace back to something that God created that was taken in a perverted way, right? And then the driver of that is self. The driver of that is to
build yourself up and tear other people. I mean,
and I was gonna say appease your own desires, but yeah, that's the other piece of it, is that it comes at the expense of the people around you. Because drunkenness, if maybe not ideal for if you're in a group of people and then your actions affect them, or you get behind the wheel of a car, right? These are ways in which your decisions have affected the world around you. I
mean, I was dissensions, factions, and hatred are all very selfish, self-focused. I mean, I don't know if that version talked about witchcraft and stuff, but everything in that factions, you're trying to pit yourself against someone else, and I think we do that a lot in general, and make them bad so that you can build yourself up.
Interesting. Now, so with the drunkenness one, as our producer is looking up what that is in Proverbs, or what's the other one? Why am I not thinking about Psalms. One of them it talks about like drunkenness, like why you don't, right? And I can't recall what it is. Like losing your state of mind, basically.
Yeah.
Like it
Thinking
causes
like
you to
sin.
act foolishly.
Yeah.
So that's why. That's one of the reasons why. Otherwise, why would it be in there other than you don't become who you are, and we know we loosen up
And even
in the wrong way, right?
And even the funny thing is, even from a self-serving perspective, you can make the argument that it sabotages future you, right? Like if you make a bunch of bad decisions and then the next day you can't function, that's a whole day that you've lost to pursuing your other goals, right? That's a whole day that you are not obtaining the things that you've set out for yourself to do, and maybe you're taking a step backward on those things, not just staying still, but taking a full step backward on them. So even if you appeal to self-interest, which I would say is different than selfish ambition, right? Because who doesn't see it as a good thing to advance oneself to some degree, to the extent that their goals are virtuous, right? Even from that lens, you can make the argument that you shouldn't do stupid stuff because it just affects you in the future.
Yeah, it
even
does.
if you don't think about anyone else, like think about future you.
Yes.
That said, think
There's
about other
only
people.
the present me. That's
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, Jordan Peterson makes a lot of really good points, and one of them is that you are a being that iterates across time, right? And so
You're
there
what?
is no such
A
thing as
being?
present you, because present you is going to be future. Well, future you is going to be present you in however many seconds or minutes or hours. so-
or 0 seconds.
Sure, or
Whoa.
continuously, right?
We don't exist.
You're actually following?
Wait, guys, we need to convince him in 8 hours that we don't exist. We are not real.
But the point is, it's an analogy for thinking about more than just the impulses of the moment, right? And
Yeah.
so I actually think that you've identified something that, even though it's gotten a little bit abstract, and you and I enjoy those conversations, but to make it more concrete for everybody else, like this started off with
You mean dumb it down for Chris and I?
for the
What is he-
simpletons.
I went to Bible school. I'm good. What's wrong?
I have no idea
Why
what's
do we
going on.
invite these guys? We got to bring more dumb people. Go on.
I'm not smart.
I'm with him. I was just thinking about the fact that we don't really ever exist in the present.
Yeah, well,
Except that's what God calls us to do.
I know, but I mean, it is. I know it's a term that we use, but like the way how time moves, by the time I'm saying something, it's already in the past, and I'm in the. It's weird.
If you move your arm over here, is this part of you in the future? Because time is.
and is it controlled by a
four-dimensional.
jellyfish brain? I'm not sure. But what I was going to say.
Anyway,
What I
what's
was-
your thought process?
What I was going to say is, I mean, a large portion of this started off from the stem that you question why you're doing things, right? And
Yeah.
if you're bringing the right motivations to them. And I think that, like, one of my takeaways is just that that's something that we all do question
Yeah.
and maybe should question more. And maybe,
I should question less.
well, maybe the grounding of a conversation with other people can provide some reassurance to you in those moments, right?
Yeah.
Not that we've figured it all out in one conversation, but at least we've identified maybe some things that would be helpful in that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I both like in one moment overthink everything, and I'm a very impulsive person. I think you know that.
Just
Me?
a bit.
I just do.
I don't know. I just helped you open 20 discs and
Listen,
That all
no,
just
we
came
don't
in
want
the
to talk about this. It wasn't planned. Yeah, anyway, I
it was
also
planned.
it was planned 30 minutes before. I'd been thinking about it casually.
You can't be impulsive. You're always living in the future.
Well, and Chris is like the worst because if you're impulsive, Chris will run with it too.
Oh, I love impulsive
He'll
stuff.
just take it and be like,
Including your
My
hair.
sister-
Your
I
hair
fully
looks-
took
your
advantage
hair
of
looks
my-
great right now, by the way.
My sister
you
fully
do it
took
yourself?
advantage of the impulsive nature of. Well, although she
stick up?
whatever. Yeah, she encouraged. That's how we got to a tarantula. Was impulse. Impulse buying a tarantula is crazy.
that is crazy. I haven't done it.
I can't do this.
Steve's.
We're at the end of the podcast, everyone. Just
What
hang
is-
in there with us. We're almost done.
We're almost done.
Past my bedtime.
It's past my bedtime. Do we
Okay,
wanna
so
pause
do we
there?
feel like I don't know? I think this is a very interesting conversation. I hope other people don't you do that with your hair.
Do what?
Do what?
What's the problem? I don't understand.
Casual middle part.
Nice. Okay.
Sorry.
Bringing it back.
Sorry.
Bringing it back.
Bringing it back. When has it been?
Right,
in?
exactly.
JK and Mike are really trying to have a great conversation, and we're just.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I love it.
The intelligence level. There's a lot of intelligence at this table right now.
It's
Lot
crazy.
of intelligence. Just like there's a lot of money at this table right now.
I mean, we have a doctor.
Sure. Right.
We have a guy in finance.
Mm-hmm.
We have a minister.
Mister.
We have a Mister.
It's just Mister.
It's just Mister.
It's just
And then there over here is the picture guy. The picture
big
guy.
picture guy.
Big
You're the
photo.
picture guy.
Big picture.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if this goes viral.
I hope so. At this point,
Yeah.
I've committed.
You've
I've
committed
committed, yeah,
to that
exactly.
look.
It's a whole look. You have to show up that way from now on. I'm still waiting for my blazer.
My blazer.
No, you said I could have it. At least for one episode. I'm still waiting.
All right. Well, how do we?
I forgot.
Do we want to
we
go?
end this?
We
Do
filmed
we want to
like
go to
once a
another
week.
Blazer list,
question?
apparently.
Yeah, exactly. How do we?
I think we end. We ask.
All
All right, hold on.
I
We-
mean,
we
I have
just
one
asked-
playful question to kind of wrap
Oh,
it up.
okay.
but
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
One playful
Well,
question.
before we get to the playful question,
Yeah.
just if you are interested in this conversation or have anything to add, just comment below. And just
Yeah.
add some of your insights.
Engagement is great.
Steve will most likely respond.
Yes.
I won't. But someone else smarter maybe will. No, it'd just be great to hear what
We'll
you guys
get AI
have.
to
So,
do it, probably.
yeah, or if you know us in person, talk to us.
No,
Yeah.
Please don't talk to me.
still send me a message and have ChatGPT write it.
I love it. Okay, here we go.
Chat
All right,
GPT
Mike. Let's wrap up with this because we gotta soften the ending a little.
Do we want
All
to
right, bring it
pause
in.
for a second and restart?
No,
it?
we're good. We're gonna.
Okay.
end it.
Let's fly. Let's fly right through this.
Okay.
Here we go. All right. So, if you were to write a book, what would the title be?
A Bug's Life.
Why can't I make the joke?
I'm sorry. Were you actually gonna say that?
No, I was going to
Okay,
say
good.
somehow I managed.
An
but-
altruistic bug's life.
The
altruistic
title
book.
of your book would be Somehow I Manage.
I mean, that's the title of
great.
No, it's
Great.
Michael Scott's book.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's
Okay, I've seen every episode. I don't remember that.
You didn't know? Wow.
Yeah.
It's
What
actually
would-
funny.
Somehow I Manage.
That's
Somehow I managed.
okay. Sorry.
That's not
actually,
what my title
actually.
would be. An altruistic bug's life is crazy.
That would be so good for you.
Oh.
Metamorphosis.
I don't know, something about like keeping it short because it's a little ironic because I'm usually pretty long-winded.
A little wordy.
Yeah, so like, let's keep this short.
Let's
It's
keep
all-
it short.
Let's
That's
keep
good.
it short.
Yeah,
that's
it's
actually
also
good.
a little bit of a play on me being
That's
5'4".
now your podcast title.
Let's keep it short. No, my podcast title was We Didn't Read the Book. It was going to be, we started on a topic and then immediately veered off into something completely and totally
It's kind of what
different.
we did today.
Exactly. See, this is why I wanted to be on the podcast. I just wanted to pilot episode mine. I'm going to go branch off. So come watch my podcast.
I like a little wordy. I feel like a little wordy was a good title as well.
Yeah, that's a good title.
Yeah.
That's a good title. All right, Chris, bring us home. What do you got?
Oh, me,
Or anybody.
like
Who wants to close it?
A takeaway?
JK? Yeah, sure.
Or just like a.
Yeah, it's something.
Oh, I could close it.
Yeah, you got. Okay, or
I
yes.
actually have something.
Oh,
Okay, here we go.
Close it.
And this is just kind of also like my last thoughts on the topic of motivations. We talked a lot about doing things for other people at the expense of your own interests, and I think that is generally like how we should live. But I also think that it's important to remember that you are also worthy of that same level of affection and service and respect and honor, right? And oftentimes we're surrounded by people who can pour into us in that way. And oftentimes we make decisions to treat ourselves with the respect and the honor and the appreciation that we deserve as well. And so to, I guess, bring that thread of the conversation to a close, just to give my perspective on that, I do think that there are times where you should take some you time. You should get yourself a coffee, take the afternoon, do your thing.
Buy
Go back
30
to-
discs.
There you go. In moderation, right?
Sabbath is good.
Right. And that also speaks to what you're talking about too, Chris, about how each person has their own personality and their own unique way in which any of these virtues could be applied.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love it. That's
how
fantastic.
that's how I'd
Awesome.
close that one.
Thank you,
Great.
Chris.
Hey, thank you for joining us. Comment, like, subscribe, and share it with your mom.
Thank you.
Bye.
Exactly. Bye, everyone.
Woo!
Bye.
Do we always clap at the end?
Yeah.
Wow.
You never watched the podcast?
Yeah, I did. I just don't watch the end.
Never to the end.
Yeah.
Get the first 2 seconds.
And scene.